Hey everyone, it's a great day to learn about property maintenance. So thanks for joining us. And my name's Janelle, and as I introduced, Kevin's here with us to help you work through any questions you might have. I couldn't resist sharing a picture of me from my general contractor days since we're going to be talking about maintenance. Just so you know, though, I'm not using a chop saw right now. I really love working with Rentec Direct and Kevin. As you can see, he's here. He's got such a great smile, and he's just super knowledgeable, and he knows all the answers to the challenging questions. If I ever get stuck, I just turn around since we sit next to each other, and I ask him questions. So, and he's a really friendly and fun guy to work with. So thanks for being here, Kevin, and your microphone is working.
For having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just wanted to say I'd really appreciate all of you that have joined us today to give us your feedback on a couple questions. I've sent over to the polls tab. It's on your webinar tool, and you're going to see that there. They're just a couple short questions that you can click on, and they're waiting there for you. And you're also going to be able to see when you answer them how your peers are answering. So it's kind of fun. I mentioned that Kevin's here, to answer your questions. So notice that questions tab that's up there as well. And if you have any questions, feel free to, shoot him a question, and you can always send a follow-up email, or you can call your success team after this webinar. But I just want you to know he is here and ready for your questions as we're walking through the presentation together. So let's just get started learning. Your Rentec account is already equipped with tools to track your maintenance activity by property. So you don't need to worry about enabling any particular feature. It's already there for you. So you can add in details about what maintenance your property needs, and who you're going to have do the work, and just how urgent the issue is. You can indicate if it's an occupied rental and notate if the tenant has given you permission to enter. There's even options to record expenses associated with that maintenance request. And this is a really cool tool as part of the maintenance request system, is you can add in as many pictures and file attachments to that work order as you need. So I know when I was a property manager, I used to need to get like 3 estimates for big projects. And so you could do an attachment to that maintenance request to store those estimates or bids, and pictures, and just or even a copy of the invoice when it's finished. So once you have your maintenance request created, you're going to be able to, quickly access it either through the property tab in your program or the summary page. And I'm going to show you that, so don't worry. There are also reports that you can pull on current or historical maintenance. And if you want to allow your tenants to send you their maintenance requests versus call you on the phone or text you at 3 a.m. They're going to be able to do this right through their tenant portal, and we're going to notify you of their request. So for our property managers, another option is you will be able to choose which of these maintenance requests appear on the owner portal. And you can always email out, work orders to anyone you need to. It's just those automatic feeds from the tenant and owner portal. So the tools to make this happen are really easy, and we're going to get into that. So let's go through and log into my account, and that way I can show you, just exactly how we're going to do this. So what I pulled up on the screen here is my account, and it is a mock account, so don't worry about that. So what you first do to use your maintenance tools is you head on over to the property tab. And when you're in the property tab, use the filter there to find your property. That's here on the left side. And then in the property menu, you're going to head on down to work orders. Okay. And then when you're on this page, you can see that I already have some maintenance requests. So if there's anything open already for this property, you'll see it here. You'll also see the option to see any closed work orders. But let's pretend this is your very first one. On the left, you see here this add a work order, and you'll click this button. And here, this is where you're going to enter all the details to create your maintenance request. And we use the term maintenance request and work orders kind of synonymously. So if you call into your support team, we're talking about the same thing. And there is a field here to notate as far as if you have a cost for the repair. I thought I'd mention that piece of it. And if you're, going to expense it out to the property or a tenant, great. Or you're simply just, tracking it. And, if you're allowing your tenants to view maintenance requests that you create, you can head on down here and select the tenant view button, or you can deselect it. And for those property managers, if you're wanting to share it with owners, you have the option to decide, is this work order or maintenance request something that I want the tenant to be able to see. So as far as these check boxes, just remember, you can toggle these with each work order that you do. And, once you create this work order, you're going to see an option. Let me scroll down towards the bottom of this page where I talked about those files that you can add. So you'll be able to add these. As soon as you click the create work order button, you'll be able to add as many maintenance requests, as many pictures and details to this maintenance request as you need to. And then if I scroll to the top of this page where your work order is, you're going to see the option to print it or email it. Also carry over that expense, if you put in a cost here, to a property. So maybe it's you're fixing a fence or you're repairing drywall and it's only a property expense. Just click this button. But if it's maybe a damage that a tenant created, or when they're moving out, you're going to bill them for it, you can use this button. So just wanted to mention that piece there as well for you. And then when you go back to the property page, after you've created that maintenance request, you're going to see right here this wrench icon. And that indicates that you have maintenance requests open. So it's just a visual reminder for you. So when you click on it, there we go. We go back to our maintenance request. And I'm going to open up one of these maintenance requests that I already created just to show you. Here was that picture that I attached. And I get asked often, what are these fields about and who can see them? So let's talk about that just a little bit. The description and the details field, this is going to be visible to tenants if you're sharing it. This is what they enter on their side, which I'll show you that in a little bit too. And this is an expandable field. So, they can write a diary, or you can if you need to. There's plenty of room. The resolution section, this is typically where you put in notes about what was done. Tenants do not see this here. So if it's something you want to communicate with the tenants back and forth, you could be adding in your notes right here. The resolution, you see this, of course, your teammates see this, but if you're sharing this with the owners of the property, they see this as well. Now, private notes, that's just what it means as far as tenants do not see it, owners do not see it. This is where, maybe inner office notes can be placed like, we told that tenant not to flush the toys down the toilet. This is the fourth time. Whatever you want to put there that you want just for your office eyes only. And so wanted to show you that piece there. So if we head back to the summary page, I wanted to show you a few places where you're going to see your maintenance requests once you've created them. The first one is down here in the bottom left. It says quick access links. And when I click on it, you'll be able to see the option for work orders. Now, when I click on work orders, this is everything across my portfolio. So I don't have to go to every single property and look up individual ones. If I don't need to, I can head over here and I can say, hey, I need to sort these by the date that they were received. Maybe that's important to you. Or you'll notice that we were able to enter a priority level. You can sort them by priority. So for those of you who have many moving parts to your maintenance activity, you may have 20 different work orders or 50 different work orders open at once, and you can sort them by priority level. So there is one place to go. Let me show you back here on the summary page, another location you're going to want to pay attention to. Right under the Notices tab, you're going to see an option. If you have open work orders, it'll say right here, there are, in my case, 13 open work orders. And I can click that link and it'll take me to that summary as well. So if you have an incoming maintenance request from a tenant, one, you're going to receive an email, but it's also going to hit this tally right here. So keep an eye on that when you log in. You land on your summary page, so just click there. And then if you want to digest all of your maintenance requests in another fashion, let me show you. If you head over to your Reports tab, under Reports, you're going to click the sub-tab where it says Miscellaneous Reports. And on the left side, you can choose, your properties. Maybe you want to see all properties or one particular, and you can choose your date range. And then over here on the right side, towards the bottom, you'll be able to see open and closed work orders. So let me click on this for you. Open work orders. This gives you a printable list of every single maintenance request. And on this maintenance request, it gives the summary and the description. So that's the first two fields that the tenant can enter or you and your team can enter. It gives you a phone number for the tenant if it's been entered into the system. And it gives you basically all the fields there and a note section. Now, this is really if you're going to be printing these out and giving it to somebody in the field and they're going to return it back to you so you can key in data into the program. Or again, I mentioned you can click the option up here to email it. And when you do that, you can email it out and even send yourself a copy if you need to. This is great if you have a particular vendor that you're working with and you want to send them maybe all the maintenance requests for your whole portfolio or maybe just one property. So just keep that in mind. It sends a copy of that report. Another report you can pull is closed work orders. So I know this was important when I was in property management, and I need to just know, hey, what have I done on one particular property over the course of, maybe it would be last year. So I could select last year, head on down here to closed work orders, and I would see a summary. It doesn't give you that detail that the open work order does, but it's a nice summary. And you can see here, what's the issue here? What happened? How much did it cost? Who did the work? And then the area that I'm hovering over right now, that's a clickable link that if I actually click on it from this report, it's going to take me back to that maintenance request. So if I had some follow-up information I needed to add it would be here for you. So again, those reports for maintenance are located underneath the Reports tab and the Miscellaneous Reports tab. And again, back under Properties, you can find the section for one particular property's work orders right here, or you can go to the summary page and find the full list. Here's a shortcut, though, I wanted to show you. If you're in one property's work order section, down in the bottom left, there's another link. So we just try to build in these shortcuts throughout the program so you're not always having to click back here, or you're not always having to navigate back and forth. So there's that shortcut I wanted to point out for you. So it's pretty straightforward as far as maintenance request, adding a work order again, filling in the details. I think that your whole team is going to be able to do that pretty easy there. Let's talk about. I'm going to get back into another screen here. Pardon me. So we're going to talk about tenant and owner portals. So the owner portals are for our property managers who are using the PM version, but both of our Pro and PM clients have access to tenant portals to share with their tenants. So I'm going to show you here how you can get into a tenant portal and how it's going to look for them as far as maintenance and what they can do. So let's get back into my account. So here I am, and I'm going to click on tenants because I'm going to find my my tenant portal, and I'm just going to isolate one of my tenants here. And to access a tenant portal, in case you're not familiar with that, just edit your tenant. Head on down here to where it says log in as tenant. And I'm going to go ahead and open it up in another window. So here is my fake tenant. And if my tenant logs in, this is the screen he sees. And he can click on repairs. And you'll see here that there are a couple maintenance requests that are already open, and you see when it's received, so he can keep track of that. And if it's assigned to someone, that just helps communicate to your tenant, who's going to be doing the work. And here on the upper left, they can see closed maintenance requests. So this is especially helpful if you are, working with a vendor for maintenance requests on a property, and your vendor says, hey, I took care of that broken window, and I'm hovering over right here, and the tenant says, wait a minute, it's not been fixed. It's a good way for them to be able to see, what's open and closed, and then they can communicate back with you and let you know maybe that work wasn't completed. But to report a new issue, all your tenant has to do, you see this button here in the upper right, is just click on it. They put in that short and detailed description, so very straightforward. Let's go ahead and put in a maintenance request here so you can see the flow of it. So I'm going to put in here, front door handle is loose, and they can put in anything they want. It wiggles. And then once they indicate if there's permission to enter, it by default says yes. But if they say no, it's going to ask them to enter a phone number where you'd be able to reach them to, talk to them about gaining access to the property. So I'm going to say yes. And then it gives them a warning. Yes, I'm giving you permission. Once we report this, the tenant can click here to upload a picture, and they can upload up to 3 pictures. So you're not going to be getting, just inundated with, every angle of that front doorknob. You're just going to get 3 pictures of it. So there we have the maintenance request that the tenant has submitted. Now, once they submit this maintenance request, what happens is you are going to be notified via email, and you're also going to see it back in the program. So if I were to go back into my account and I clicked on the summary page, I would see, oops, now I have 14 work orders. So if I click view work orders, we'll see here, let's find it in my list. I didn't give it a high priority level. So let's see here. It's going to be here in this list. But the idea is you'll have a list here, and you go back under the summary and under the quick access links, you'll be able to see it as well. So just wanted to show you the flow of that. Let's also look at what an owner is going to see on their side. So if you click over onto the Accounts tab, and you right click on an owner and select edit, you can log in as that owner. So let's do that. And here is the owner portal and this is again for our Rentec PM clients. Right on their dashboard or their summary page, when they log in, they see there are open work orders, and they can click on this link as well. Or in the bottom, there is a link for work orders. So here we're going to click on it, and they see similar information that the tenant sees, but they also see, if they have more than one property that you're managing, which property is this assigned to? And they can click on the view button, and they'll be able to see, like I mentioned, the description and details, also the resolution. They see any attachments that you've made as well. So a good way to communicate with the owners you're managing for, what's happening on their properties. And again, you decide which maintenance requests are going to feed to the owner portal. So if you're not ready to share, a maintenance request, maybe it's just not the right time, you don't have to share that until you're ready to that owner's portal. So that's totally up to you there. So we've talked about the tenant and owner portals. With this picture, I just want to give you a reminder that both the tenant and the owner portals, including the maintenance piece of it, are accessible through just logging into from their desktop, but it's mobile friendly, and there is an app for both tenants and owners. They can go to the App Store, and you'll be able to find it there, and I'll make sure that you have links to it in case you haven't been using that. But it is mobile friendly, so when tenants and owners are out and about, they can send you those requests, or they can look at what you're sharing with them. So the next thing we need to talk about is settings related to maintenance requests. So if you have anyone working in your account with you, there are a couple of settings that you're going to need to activate for the sub-user that's working in the account. So if they're going to be working in there, and they're going to be doing maintenance activity, you're going to need to toggle a few settings. So the first one relates to a sub-user that is set to view only. That's a user permission that you find under your settings tab under manage users. If you're just having someone be able to look up information and not be able to key in data, there is an override. It's an exception that you can allow them to edit work orders. And this is especially helpful if you're providing, a maintenance person access to your Rentec account. You don't want them to be working on, accounting or, have them, managing any tenant activity, but you want them to be able to put in notes about maintenance requests. So the second user permission that you're going to want to toggle relates to properties. So for any sub-user to be able to create or view a maintenance request, they're going to need to have access rights to that property. So make sure you just scroll down in their user permission settings and select which properties they are to be able to see. Maybe it's all your properties, maybe it's only one relevant for that particular sub-user. So just keep that in mind, okay? And there's some program default settings that you're going to want to manage if you plan to allow your tenants and those property owners to create and view work orders. So just make sure that you review those. Again, these are all under your settings tab. The program defaults, you're going to see that in the upper left corner, and I've highlighted those that you're going to want to toggle. All right, so if you do want to allow tenants to post a work order, I thought I would share with you what's going to be emailed to you. So here's a sample on the left side of the screen of the email you will receive when a tenant submits a maintenance request. And it gives you just a basic summary, and it's going to come to the email address that you have in your account underneath your settings. So underneath your account, you're going to see your account and subscription and contact info. That's the email address it's going to go to. Remember how I mentioned that incoming tenant maintenance requests are emailed, to that main contact on your account? Well, we just heard from the development team that it's very close to rolling out a request that clients just like you had been asking for. So if you prefer, those emails to be routed to maybe a maintenance manager or a property manager rather than that general email address on your account, we're going to be rolling that out. So just very soon, you're going to be able to designate a maintenance manager for each of your properties. And this is going to save you time, forwarding those emails. So you'll be notified directly on your summary page about your Rentec account when this rolls out. So keep an eye on that. You'll see right when you're logged into your account on the right side of the screen, we give you product updates. But you can also read about it on the Rentec Direct blog, which if you can't see that address there, it's rentecdirect.com/blog. And there is a section there, it's under the About Us, and it's product updates. So if you're ever just curious about, what we've done over, the last 6 months, you can take a look at that. And then you can also just subscribe to the blog and you're going to get an email whenever we make new posts. So that's another easy way to be up to date, because as you are a long-term client with us, you'll get in the groove and you use the program and you might not catch updates if you don't pay attention to those two features. So another thing I wanted to make you aware of, just in case you aren't, is that we have partnered with a company called Z Inspector. And since we're talking about maintenance, I just wanted to mention that to you there. Oops, let me get back to there. So Z Inspector, they are a company that just has an excellent product that's all about property inspections, such as move-in and move-out inspections, just any type of inspection. That's really their forte. And if you sign up for an account with them, what's really cool is you're going to be able to sync your properties that are in your Rentec account over to their mobile-friendly tools, and then the reports that you complete in their interface are going to show back in your Rentec account. So it's a nice two-way sync, and I'm going to shoot you a link to their service just in case you want to look into it. You certainly don't have to. It's just a product that we really were impressed with, and so that's why we partnered with them. So I mentioned, Kevin, you've been really busy over there in the background answering questions that our clients have been sending us. So do you have any questions that have come up that you want to share with everyone that might be, useful to everyone that's joining us today?
Well, thanks, Janelle. I actually did have a question I'd like to share. Stephen in Iowa was asking, when you're finished with a maintenance request, how would you go about closing the work order?
Oh, that's a great question. Let me log back into my account so we can take a peek at that. So I'm going to click on the property tab and just open up one of my maintenance requests. And over here on the right side, if I'm going to be managing it, let's just open this one right here. You'll see as we scroll down, there is a section right here for the resolved area. This is the day usually you enter when you are done working in it. So this, once I click save up here, this resolved button is going to trigger an email to go to the tenant if you have indicated you want it to. I need to show you that as well. So thanks for bringing up that question. But this will trigger an email to the tenant letting them know that the maintenance request has been handled. And then right here under status, oops, I'm highlighting it, status, there is a drop-down menu you can select closed. So that's really all you have to do. And when you click save changes, that is going to then pull it off of your active list. Now, as a follow-up to that, imagine you closed it, you resolved it, and you find out, oh no, I'm not done with that maintenance request. I need to get back in there. Just click the display closed button and you'll be able to find any of your closed work orders, and you'll be able to then open it back up and change the status and begin working in it again. So thank you so much, Kevin. I appreciate that question, and thanks for sending it on over. All right, excellent. And just so you know, if you have any questions that you still are curious about, definitely send them over to us. So we're going to be continuing our client success webinar series throughout the year, and we invite you to join us. And these are just great for brushing up on your current skills and to learn if there are any new features that have rolled out since you came on board. But they're also great for training new employees. So if you have any people that are helping you and you just want to get them acclimated to the software, share these webinars with them. And just be sure to check out our library of recorded webinars, because once we've completed this today, it's going to be available to watch for others. So I'm going to make sure that you have a link for both of these opportunities, for the upcoming ones and then also the on-demand ones. And I thought I'd mention for you that are here today, the coffee break that I mentioned up here in the upper left corner on May 22nd. I will be with Catherine from your client success team, and it's basically just a casual get together with our clients, and it's a way for you to just ask any question, and you can even join the conversation if you want to. We share the stage with you, and it's just a fun way to get together casually and talk. And it looks like clients have suggested they want to talk about all the different settings. That's the general topic. So wanted to mention that for you. And again, thank you so much for hanging out with us today and taking time to learn how to best utilize your tools that are in your program. And just know we're here to help you. If you have questions, know there are a ton of helpful independent tools you can use, like the knowledge base and these webinars, but your support team is here for you. They're here by phone and email Monday through Friday. We are Pacific time, so we're in Oregon. Just keep that in mind, but we're here. We cover both time zones pretty well by being here 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. And don't forget to leave a voicemail if you do call and we're busy, helping other clients, because we are not a call center. We're a highly trained support team here. So just leave a message and we get back to you in the same business day. It's typically within 1 to 2 hours, but we always get back in the same business day. So